the argument of the feminists, which, by the way, minority of women, like 7% of women in the UK, identify with feminism.
It's hard for me to see why you're conflating such radical arguments with actually neutral, kind of like trying to build bridge arguments. We'll get onto that, but let me not.
I don't think that mutually
exclusive. Let me not derail your point. Sorry.
So I was just going to say that, look, when we're talking about different kind of subsections of society, whether it be men, women, blacks, whites, or religious groups, I'm totally for the idea of building bridges, but doing so whilst keeping, for example, one's cultural heritage intact. I think, which we believe. That's what I advocate. So I say, for example, going to exactly the crux of what you want me to talk about. I say that I'm a Muslim, right? There are certain things which I believe are non-negotiables in terms of my, if you like, aqidah, creed. I will never change the fact that I hope to never change the fact that I believe in one God. I hope to never change the fact that I believe in the Prophet Muhammad, and I hope to never change the fact that all the injunctions, including the woman's hijab or the fact that a man can wear whatever, all of these things, I accept them wholesale. Now, whether or not political philosophies, ideologies, etc., have contradictory outlooks on these particular premises or these particular injunctions or whatever prescriptions, for me is irrelevant. But what I would say is this, is that within Islam, and this is the same thing as I said to the guy last week, within Islam is an inbuilt flexibility which allows us to coexist. So whereas we would not agree with someone, the Quran says, "Lakum dinukum waliya din." You have your religion and I have my religion. So whereas we might not agree with these things, with X, Y, Z, we still can agree to disagree.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's the point, really.
No, and I absolutely believe in the freedom to believe without persecution. That's my main thing, and this is why I'm defending mostly about the grooming gangs and whatever. But I have to draw a parallel here, because when you talk about, we can reduce arguments to certain things, and we can go on from there. You need to understand that these are the same arguments, right, that certain idiots like Tommy Robson and all his crew use to justify their vilification of anyone else.
But
when we talk about the articles, one of the biggest things that I hate about the articles is that it paints people as Muslim, right?
Yeah.
There is nowhere in the police reports that anyone has been identified as Muslim. They don't collect that information. So where they got that from, I don't know. But for them, it's a reductionist argument to think that because someone is from Pakistan and Bangladesh, automatically they're Muslim. Reductionist argument, demonizing a whole nation that doesn't necessarily need to be demonized. Now, what I'm trying to say is when we reduce arguments and we don't allow deliberation, this is what happens.
If what you're saying is that we need to look at the nuances.
We look at
exactly. Right. So I would agree with that.
No, but what I want in particular is I want to talk about a nuance within the Islamic community.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would be something that would be greatly appreciated by people in particular in the West.
Yeah.
But also in particular, I think it would give less reason.
What's happening?
I don't know.
I think we're going to have a discussion today.
Yeah. It would give less reason for radicals like that to be able to reduce your religion and your culture and your people to one single factor that they deem is suitable for them. So what I'm trying to say is I want to build a nuance between just the Western civilization or society, whatever you want to call it, and Islam. Because right now, there's so many Middle Eastern countries that are becoming superpowers. They're going from LEDCs to MEDCs, but they're also experiencing cultural shifts as they do that. Because when you're an LEDC, you tend to stick to more traditional, fundamental religious practices, right? Especially when it comes to
I think that's, you could be conflating two things here, which is correlation versus causation.
But you did this as well with pornography. That's another thing.
Yeah, no.
When we were talking about pornography, you were talking about the idea that pornography supposedly shrinks your brain size and so on. So that's not the case. Addiction shrinks your brain size. I don't
think I ever said that it shrinks.
It was in the video.
Did I say shrink?
Yeah. No, not shrinks, but decreases the brain activity, brain size, basically.
What I think I said.
Yeah.
And I remember, what I said is that.
Correct me, man. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
There's two parts of the brain.
Yeah.
There's what is referred to as the reptilian core. And there's another place called the nucleus accumbens. Now, the nucleus accumbens, the reptilian core, where things like dopamine and oxytocin are secreted. When, for example, someone is stimulated, they secrete those things. Yeah. Now, for example, if someone is addicted to pornography, they continually secrete dopamine, oxytocin. Now, what that does is it creates something called a withdrawal effect, which activates a part of the brain called the nucleus accumbens.
I'm just going to stop you for just a quick kind of overview kind of thing. You're describing addiction. I did psychology A levels, so I know what addiction is. And exactly. So you know observation is key. But that is what you're describing. You're describing addiction. We know in psychology that there's various mediums for addiction, and pornography is a medium for addiction. But you have to have an addicted personality to be addicted to porn in the first place. There are very many, and most of them are nuanced porn users. They watch porn, and they won't watch it for maybe a week or two or a month. That's the majority.
I'm trying to justify the thing.
Oh, let me. we can get into that. We can get into that.
Because I don't know why you would justify such a thing. You got all these feminists. I mean, do you know, Andrea, what's her name? Dworkin. Let me tell you something really interesting. Sorry, I apologize. From a feminist perspective, a radical, she's referred to as a radical feminist. But once again, this woman, Dworkin, she wrote a book, I forget the name of the book, but I listened to an audio thing.
Dworkin, is it? I can't remember.
Andrea Dworkin. Is it Andrea Dworkin?
Yeah.
She makes some really good points. I mean, talking about the commodification and objectification of women in pornography. And do you know what she says? Now to kind of stick up for the feminists. She says this. She says that really this is a kind of, I don't want to misquote her, but I think she says,
Don't worry, I'm not going to.
I think she says,
worry, man,
no, it's important for
go.
there's something going on there. I think she kind of equates, I'm not going to say prostitution, but she kind of talks about it being a tantamount to some very deep kind of exploitation. And the reason why, if you think about who the ones who actually get most gratification, who it exacerbates the idea of a patriarchy if you believe in it. Pornography exacerbates it. If you look at, for example, women, how women are being treated in pornography. According to Dworkin, she says that most of the positions and stuff like that elevate men into a position of entitlement and decrease women into a position of subordination. Do you think so?
A lot of feminists, you need to realize as well, a lot of feminist doctrines, they do kind of pander to that idea of female victimhood. And a lot of the times when we speak
now we're talking the same language, right?
Exactly. This is the thing. But when we talk about pornography,
a
study was done, and a lot of people love to say that men objectify women, right? Now, I find that if someone is sympathetic to a human being, they tend to concentrate on the face, because the face is where you can translate a person's emotions the most.
But men don't really do that much.
A study found that men concentrate on the face more than they do the genitals. Where did women focus on?
Go and you tell me.
The genitals. So who's objectifying?
No, but I think what study was this?
I'll give it to you hopefully later.
Because there's lots of studies on it.
There's a lot of studies.
But let me give you a few analytics that I've kind of looked into.
That's a very common study. If you look around, you'll find it.
No, the majority of
the thing. When we talk about this in particular, we talk about it from a standpoint where we've never actually allowed women the right to have the freedom to their own sexuality. So when we're talking about women,
but it's nothing.
I'll give you another study. I'll give you another study.
Go ahead.
There was a study.
Do you know what's the name?
What's that?
Of the study?
Oh, no. But there was a study basically where they showed men in enticing material to measure what they were basically aroused by. They showed men on women, men on men, and animals. And the men were aroused by mostly straight porn. And obviously the gay men were aroused by gay porn. Can you tell me what the women were aroused by?
Lesbian.
Everything.
Really?
Even the animal porn.
Because
when asked later on, what were they aroused by? What did they answer? Nothing. That teaches us about the difference that we've taught women, right? What they can say versus what they actually feel. So when we're talking about women and sexuality, this is another taboo subject, and I think you raised this in the video. It's a very taboo subject. We don't talk about female sexuality, and we don't talk about it in a sense that it's a free conversation for men and women to have.
I do.
It's in a lot. Don't pretend all the other guys do. I have guys like that as well. You know, they'll come. But they'll come over and they'll be like, oh, you know, so and so, you know, they gave me, you know, a little bit of oral, right? And I'm like, I'm a liberal man. I'm like, okay, did you give her oral back? And they're like, no, man, fuck that. Why?
Yeah, well, look, let me tell you something.
So this is what I'm trying to say. I understand. When we talk about this subject, we need to remember that we don't give certain people a fair chance to speak about it. And there's a lot of ingrained cultural and historical reasons for this.
Yeah.
We want to go back, find out those reasons, and see whether or not they're applicable to today and they're justifiable.
Yeah, I would say though.
That's where I think the nuance would be.
I would say that, for example, like, if you look at the temperaments of both men and women in different look, I mean, that's what we have to look at, really and truly. And this is the crux of what I'm trying to say. Men and women are different.
Yeah, they are different.
And they're different in their sexuality even.
Of course.
I'm not saying that women have a lesser sexuality or is inferior or subordinate or subservient to the man's sexuality. But what I'm saying is completely different. For instance, looking at studies done by Google Analytics, you'll find that majority of porn users are men. Frequent porn users are men. Now, the idea is that I do genuinely believe women are more, and this is going to sound very cliche, very stereotypical, but it's so evident. Are more sentimental, they're more emotional, whether we like it or not. Yeah. Emotional in what sense? And we have to really caveat this. Emotional in the sense that they are more, they have a higher demand for what you would refer to as affection, love. Whereas a man has a higher tendency to polygamy.